You need to ask yourself, who would I be outside of this need? This need to save people, to be a hero, to rescue everybody. I didn't realize how serious my oldest sister syndrome was until my brother died. And I was spending time reflecting on our relationship. And I realized that I was too busy trying to optimize him and parent him that I didn't actually give a chance for our brother and sister relationship. I didn't actually relate with him as a sister, and honestly, it was never my responsibility to parent him. And I feel like, this might be the guilt, because grief is such a multifaceted emotion, and it makes you feel things, and things are a bit overblown in your mind. But I feel like I would have been a better sister to him, would have had a better relationship if I wasn't so focused on his success and ensuring that he turned out perfect. I feel like I spent so much time just hammering on him to optimize his life, to be the best. I just didn't tell my brother that I loved him enough. And it's because of this hero complex that being an older sister gives you, this idea that other people's success is riding on you, and literally you have to push them and badger them and control them until they're what you consider perfect. Before I jump the gun and assume that everybody knows what oldest sister syndrome is, I'm going to explain. Basically, oldest sister syndrome is this idea that you're the third parent, that you're your siblings' parent, that you're responsible for their lives and how they turn out. So I know some people ended up with this syndrome through parentification, where your parents tell you, oh, you're responsible for your children, for your siblings, you have to feed them, you have to clothe them. Some people were actually basically thrust into that role of parent because their own parents did not step up, or their parents assumed that just because you're the oldest one and you're a girl, it's your responsibility to raise your siblings. Being the first child is hard, and being a girl, being a woman, because everybody expects you to be a nurturer, is hard. Now combine the two of them, so it's doubly hard to be an older sister, because literally there's the stress of I'm the first, and there's also the stress of I'm a woman, I'm expected to take care of everybody and put myself last. It can be really exhausting. And some signs of older sister syndrome are: number one, you're a perfectionist. You are everything has to be perfect. I'm raising my hand right there. Number two, you're a control freak. You want everything to go a certain way, or you feel like. Number three, you are overly ambitious. You're always acting like you have something to prove. And I don't have any problem with ambition, honestly, because I feel like women are harassed for being ambitious, and it's a good thing, right? Because I don't say anything wrong with ambition. But if it comes from a toxic place, and I've been in a place of healthy ambition and toxic ambition, I've been the kind of ambitious that's like, I'm going to show all of them how they disrespect me. I'm going to show. I remember that there was someone I loved who I heard on the grapevine, because till today I don't know if it's true. I heard that the reason why his parents told him not to marry me is because my family is not rich. And for like 3 years, I was going hard. Those kind of people that they don't care who they shoot down while they're trying to rise up the career ladder. They just want to make the money, get all the promotions, look good, and they don't care about anybody else. I was that person. And what happened is, instead of building a healthy career network at that point, I was just alienating everybody, because I was just doing, I just wanted to shine. I didn't care who else was going to look bad, which is not a good way to build a career. So I know both sides of ambition, the toxic side and the healthy side. So I'm all for healthy ambition, but it has to be removed from the need to prove things to anybody. What other people think of you is not responsibility. And the danger of, I'm going to show them, I'm going to be ambitious. I'm ambitious because I have something to prove, because I have to show everybody who said I was not going to make it. The danger of that is you start to chase metrics of success and not necessarily metrics that you care about, right? I'm starting to understand now that success for me, it's a different thing. It might not look like what other people want, but it's what I believe success is, and that's really what's important, because that's what's going to make you fulfilled. So if you feel like you always have something to prove as an older sister, then you probably have older sister syndrome. Another thing is, you're always worrying about your family. Oh my gosh, I worry about my brothers so much, and things that are really not mine. I worry about my parents. I'm like, this is how the Bible says, sufficient unto each day is trouble thereof, but sufficient unto each person is their own trouble and their own worries. Literally, we just pile on all of this baggage of other people's business that we have no control over. right? And the funny thing is, like, if you're dealing with kids and you're a parent, okay, maybe you're excused. But you're dealing with adults. You're dealing with adults, whole adults. And another sign that you're suffering from older sister syndrome is that you always put yourself last. Trust me, that's a dangerous habit. It's a dangerous habit to have, and you need to drop it with immediate effect. Because I know that people make it look like, oh, as a woman, like you have to come last. But as much as I'm not advocating for selfishness, you can't always come last. Delivering yourself from older sister syndrome has to be an intentional thing that you do, and it's going to be against your nature for a while. You're going to have to pull yourself back. You're going to have to deliberately notice your patterns and be like, okay, I'm going into this again, and stop it. The first step to freeing yourself from older sister syndrome is mind your business. Like, really, really mind your, like, just ask yourself, how is this my business? My youngest brother got married. I promised myself that I was never going to be one of those meddlesome in-laws that people are afraid of. The ones who can't live well enough. You don't have to put their mouth and their nose what other people's marriages and other people's things. I promised myself that, look, I'm going to mind my business. It's not my business. Somebody's married, the dynamic has changed. My brother is married, his wife comes first, all of that. There's no question. But after my brother got married, I mean, he's my youngest brother, and there's quite a gap between us. So yeah, definitely my oldest sister syndrome is stronger with him. And how I knew that, like, I wasn't just gonna, that it wasn't just about lip servicing, I'm not going to be meddlesome, but I had to deliberately caution myself. I had to deliberately watch myself, because I had the tendency to just want to be like, no, this was best for you. And maybe I didn't notice it before he got married, because, like, I mean, there was no friction, right? My opinions were not at odds with anybody else's opinion. But how I knew that this was going to be something I needed to be careful about was my brother was going to get married, and he showed me the suit he had picked out, and it was a gray suit. I'm like, why are you wearing gray? Gray washes you out. And he said, well, his wife picked gray because she wants to match or something. And I had to catch myself, because I was going to say something but just asked myself, how is this my business? Why am I telling him that gray washes? Like, am I a stylist? Am I his wife? Am I don't marry him? How is my business? If he wants to wear gray suits one day, and it's not my business. I know even recently he came and was talking to me about something, and I was like, look, please, I have my life to focus on. I'm so busy, trying to make money for my destiny. I said that, and it made him laugh so hard. And I'm like, let's make money for my destiny. All these things you are bringing to me, they're not my business. Sort it out yourself. You're a good man. I love you with all due respect. No insult here. But look, I have my own life to focus on. Look, so please release me. And I feel like some of you older sisters, you really need to tell your family members, release me, release me, release me. I did not give birth to you. I remember this verse in the Bible that I love so much. Well, I don't love it, but it's so funny. Where God asked Moses, the people of Israel were complaining per usual, and Moses was like, God, did I give birth to these people? What's my business with them? Why are you telling me to take care of them? And I feel like you need to get to that point where you're telling them, I didn't give birth to these people. I didn't give birth to my mother, my father. I didn't give birth to my brothers. I didn't participate in the activities that led to their procreation and development and being brought to this world. If I did not participate in the enjoyment, why should I suffer the consequences? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you need to really free yourself. And I know it's easier said than done, right? I'm not saying abandon your family, don't care about them, but I'm saying that if before you were giving, you were 100% in everybody's business, maybe like 120%. If you have a serious case of older sister syndrome, yeah, maybe like 120% in other people's business. Reduce it to 50%, and then just keep toning it down until because I promise you that attention that you're scattering in other people's business, if you focus it on your own life and your business, you'll be surprised. Plus, you will rest. You will rest. Do you understand? Like, you have emotional, mental, spiritual rest, because you are dealing with adults now who are able to function. And even if they make the wrong choice, it's not your fault. There's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do. And that brings me to my next point, and that's relinquish control. Relinquish control. It took my brother's death for me to realize that I was never in control of his life. I was never. He was never mine to control. He was never mine to optimize. He was never mine to direct. Even as a parent, it gets to a point where you have to just allow your children to live their own lives. You cannot control every single detail. And older sister syndrome gives you this false idea of being in control. Like you can actually control the outcomes. Like you can direct and predict the outcomes of people's lives. Like if you do 2 and 2, then it's gonna be 4. But that's not how life works. You cannot control another person's life. And I know you're telling yourself, no, I'm not control, but you are. Relinquish control, because you are really not in control. It's a false sense. It's a false idea of being in charge, but you're not. And you don't have to be in charge. It's stressful to be in charge. It's really stressful. And you need to relinquish control. Also time to make yourself a priority. Being an oldest daughter means that you're very, very likely putting other people's needs before yours. And it's not safe for you. You need to start making yourself a priority. You need to start keeping some of your money for yourself instead of channeling it to other people's initiatives and then leaving yours starving. You need to start directing your energy into your own life and into your own affairs. You need to start paying attention to yourself. Make yourself a priority. Look at all the things in your own life that are like plants that are withering while you're watering other people's gardens. Start to water yourself. Your priority now, your focus now is to water yourself. When you water yourself and you're thriving and you're flourishing, then you can be of use to others. But if you are drying up and you're watching other people, eventually there's not going to be any water to put in their own gardens. As much as you have oldest daughter syndrome, there are also people who are benefiting from that oldest daughter syndrome. And you are in relationships that are draining you because you don't have boundaries. You need to be able to say no. No doesn't kill people. In fact, no will save your own life. You need to be able to set boundaries and say, no, I can't do this. No. No. So you need to set boundaries so that your relationships don't drain you. So that people will stop taking advantage of your oldest daughter syndrome, because they know that you don't have any boundaries. And you're a people pleaser and you want to make everybody else happy but yourself. So they take advantage of you. You shouldn't be taken advantage of. And finally, build a new identity. I wouldn't be surprised if, and this is something that I've noticed as well, because you have oldest daughter syndrome, you've unconsciously surrounded yourself with people who need you to take care of them. Nobody's taking care of you. Ask yourself, who's taking care of you? Who's gonna fill your cup? Who is going to take care of you? You shouldn't only be taking care of yourself, and you shouldn't just be focusing on taking care of other people. You need people in your life to take care of you too, who pour into you as well. And if you have oldest daughter syndrome, the likelihood is that you don't have too many people like that. Instead, you're the one. You left your family members. You already have your family members who are relying on you for everything. Then you now gathered friends and other people. You're probably even a team leader at work, so all those people too as well. You are the entire focus. You are the one who's taking care of everybody. You need to build a new identity. You need to ask yourself, who would I be outside of this need? This need to save people, to be a hero, to rescue everybody, and start to live in a different direction. Let me know what you think about oldest daughter syndrome. Like, do you think it's necessary for the oldest daughter to be that way? Do you think it's impossible to change? What do you think about this video? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.